Futures now, old man.
What it do, Rookie HQ? Jose and J-Mac here with you to talk some rookie values. What's up tonight, Jose?
Not much, J-Mac. What's up, Rookie HQ gang? Thank you for hanging out with us another day, another episode. We're going to be talking about somebody who's been, I think, got steamed up pretty quick, and then kind of once the combine happened, I feel like it kind of tailed off a bit. Omar Cooper Jr. I think I've seen him on a lot of mock drafts in the first round, all over the place, though. So he's a guy that could be very interesting in terms of where he goes, but that's who we're going to focus on today. Besides that, man, how you been, J-Mac?
I've been good. Just a crazy work week. And I was telling you on the other pod, I got into another startup. This is my third one of the season, and we have another one that we're starting after the NFL draft here, which is crazy that the NFL draft is less than a week away at this point. We are finally going to get 97 roughly percent of all the puzzle pieces. Still, I guess, a few dominoes to fall in either free agency or camp hype, however you want to assign that last 3%. But yeah, man, the draft is next week. I am so stoked.
Yeah, it's crazy that it's already here. Like it feels like we were talking about, oh, it's a month away, a month and a half, whatever. And now we get the last big, piece of the puzzle, like you were saying, for these rookies, and all the rookie drafts will pretty much be kicking off shortly after that. So it'll be a lot of interesting, content for us to go over and kind of talk about.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting all the information, and finally we can start to analyze the changes in the market with these rookies, because we're going to start seeing the market value on these rookies change as we see landing spots and draft capital assigned to them. So I guess before we start diving into that, let's just jump into the segment here if you're ready.
Let's do it.
All right. Like we were saying, we are going to get some values changing here with the draft capital assigned. And I just wanted to kind of take a look here as we get into that. Hold on, let me assign this window here really quick. There we go. Here are the values on Player Profiler of the rookies at this point in time, which haven't changed since the combine, really, or even before the combine, right? You have Jeremiah Love at the 1. This is also for Superflex Tight End Premium, by the way. Fernando Mendoza at the 2. Tate, Lemon, Tyson, Sadiq, Boston, Concepcion, Omar Cooper Jr., Eli Stowers, Jadarian Price, and Mike Washington as the top 12 on the board there. Their values, lifetime values ranging 248 for Jeremiah Love. And then for the next tier of guys, you're in that 150 range. And then from 6'7", you're at that 6'7", you're at the 100. I guess that's probably 6, 7, 8. And then even 9 a little bit. And then after 9, you see a big drop off here where you get into Eli Stowers, Jadarian Price, Mark Washington. Those guys are in the high 70s and 50s. So we'll check back next week, and hopefully Player Profiler will have these rankings updated and their values updated as well. And we'll kind of check back in and see where those things go. I think I'm kind of expecting like a Kenyon Sadiq maybe to fall in value, and Eli Stowers to kind of rise in value. Maybe they get closer together, falling in and out of the rankings there. And I'm kind of thinking Casey Concepcion might jump up a little bit. All this depends on draft capital and where these guys are going here. So I don't know. Are you expecting any kind of big changes from any of these names here?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a couple guys who are pretty interesting. From everything I keep hearing, I've been watching a lot of just NFL draft, like because the Cowboys don't have a pick that they're looking to use on offense. I've been watching just like normal NFL draft, and a lot of people say that the NFL is pretty high on a guy like Denzel Boston, who I think could make a vault. I mean, depending on how high and how much like the people over at Player Profiler think that draft capital matters. I think for a lot of people, if even not in these rankings, if he goes somewhere unexpected in the middle of the first round, will change a few. Like I've seen mocks where Denzel Boston or Omar Cooper Jr. go above a Makai Lemon, who seems to be kind of falling down some draft boards or mock drafts. So I could definitely see that. I think what you're saying about Stowers could definitely be true if they get drafted pretty close together. That he gets closer to Sadiq. Sadiq has a bit of a weird thing where he's like not at a position of need and not at it's almost like a luxury position. And once you get out of like, I feel like the fifth top, like 15, 16 people or teams, there isn't a ton of people that, unless someone's just like, hey, he's the best guy on our board, we're going to take him and we'll figure it out later, which there are some teams that do that. He's a guy that, he could slip out of the first round, which would be pretty damaging to his stock. So I think there's definitely a lot of movement. I think there's a lot of movement that could happen just with the top three. Like you could
Mm.
see a big vault where all of a sudden, the third place um, receiver all of a sudden is now on top. And right now I think it's Tate at the top and Tyson at the end. If Tyson goes ninth to the Chiefs, I would imagine he vaults Makai Lemon and Carnell Tate depending on their landing spot. So yeah, I think we will have some draft day shockers and some draft day things that will definitely change our perspective and the fantasy community's idea of where these guys are going to go.
Yeah, another one that we didn't mention, who I feel like would be Ty Simpson. He's getting some buzz of going in the first round, and if he gets selected in the first round, he will also be selected in the first round of rookie drafts, probably in the later half. But I could see him going in like that 110, 111 range, maybe even a little bit higher in there.
And you will be setting your draft pick on fire.
Potentially, potentially. Jackson Dart went at that situation last year. I mean, he's at least a running quarterback, and we don't really have the same profile there. Ty Simpson just doesn't have the pedigree or the starts under his belt to really fall back on to get into NFL. So we'll see how that goes. I could also see one of these running backs jumping up and vaulting themselves. If Jadarian Price goes in the first round, I think it's going to be wrong, and I don't think Player Profiler will do it. But I think that you're going to see steam for him going at like the 106 range. I think if Player Profiler does it right, they'll probably keep him right around where he's at. They might bump him up 2 spots or so, but yeah, I think those are the names that I would be looking out for to kind of have some big ground shaking move here.
Yeah, and I mean, as we talk about the wide receivers, just as a class as a whole, I think we all know that the top three are pretty solidified. How do you have the? I think I know, but how do you have our boy Kevin Concepcion, Denzel Boston, Omar Cooper Jr., and I think we could throw Surratt in there. Like those next kind of four wide receivers, who I think the fantasy community is pretty, thinking those are kind of the next guys, the next tier. Maybe there's two different tiers in there, but how would you have them stack? Like, what's your preference there?
Yeah, I think I'm going Concepcion, Cooper Jr., and then from there it's probably gonna be Denzel Boston, but I just I don't see it. Like depending on where Elijah Surratt went, I might put him above Denzel Boston.
What did he do to you, man? What has this young man ever done to you? I don't understand. Why do you like dislike him so much? You
It,
just hate the city of Boston, is that it? Like,
no, no. I'll tell you, like it all goes back to my days as a rookie on the police force, and I went on town with him, and he took me around, and he was a dirty cop, and he tried to kill me. No, I'm just kidding. This is the plot of Training Day. He
Training
did
Day.
nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great movie. If you have not seen it, you're missing out there. But yeah, that's not Denzel Boston. I think that's Denzel Washington, a different city out there. I think I don't know, man. I don't think I hate Denzel Boston as much as you do. I think Kevin is pretty solidified. If I was gonna make it like tiers, I think there's the top three. I think it's Kevin in a tier of his own, and then I probably have Denzel Boston, Omar Cooper, and Surratt kind of in their own little mini tier, and they're kind of like the top three where they're going to be really landing dependent on how I finally stack them up. Surratt is probably, he would have to really impress with his landing and his draft capital to vault over Cooper Jr. and Boston. I mean, um, yeah, so I think that's how I have them. But I just wanted to kind of quickly pick your brain on that. But let's look at our boy Omar Cooper Jr., who we're focusing on today.
Let's do it. And for the sake of today, we're going to call Omar Cooper Jr. being taken at the 108. So right off the bat, we have a 2x12. Oops, sorry. 12 by 10
Sounds
super
like a jam.
flex, full PPR, half point tight end premium, a Rondé Gadsden, or Omar Cooper Jr.
Yeah, I mean, I'm notoriously saying I don't really want to pick after like the 106, maybe even 107, but probably the 106. But I mean, in this situation, I think I take the 108 every day. Like Gadsden is, he flashed. If we have concerns about who's going to be the target leader there between QJ and Ladd and Hampton and all, kind of everybody there, and how's that going to play out? I think Gadsden kind of would be the one that probably get lost in the shuffle the most. Give me a chance at one of these guys, or give me a chance at Omar Cooper Jr., who, he's a yak guy. Like, he could do a lot of work in a post catch if he gets to the right target, if he goes to the right scheme fit. So I'd be pretty heavily on the Omar Cooper Jr. side there.
Yeah, me as well. I'm cooling on Gadsden here just solely because what we saw from him last year was great, but it was such a short stretch of time. And it was at a time where I think Quentin Johnston was hurt. So I'm just not sold on his role in the Chargers offense. On top of that, it feels like they're just going to spread the ball around. They have so many weapons that they want to get the ball to that I can see Rondé Gadsden having his games, but I also see him just falling, back into irrelevancy for most of it. He's just going to be a boom bust move tight end. So give me Omar Cooper Jr. I'll take the shot on him and wherever he lands. All right, how about this next one in super flex, 12 by 11, full PPR, 0.75 tight end premium, Omar Cooper Jr. or Malik Willis.
See, right away when I first saw it and it was 2 QB, I went Malik Willis, but I think the full PPR maybe makes me lean Omar Cooper Jr. a little bit. I mean, he projects to be kind of that guy, like um, the yardstick mover. I don't know what I was the chain mover, right? That's kind of how he projects. I mean, his greatest strength, although he doesn't have like the strongest analytical profile, was against zone coverage, and the NFL runs a ton of zone coverage as we've seen, right? So he's easily able to beat zone, and I think that would translate pretty much on any team he's at. So I think I take the 108 here, just with the question about Malik Willis and what it is. But I understand the super flex and it's a starting quarterback. I think it's fair value, but I'll take the swing on Omar Cooper Jr. being able to be a solid wide receiver for multiple years, with the uncertainty about Willis's future.
I'm sorry. All I can see is, the chainmen with yardsticks out on the field. They just with chains on the yardsticks. No, but I'm with you. Give me Omar Cooper Jr. over Malik Willis. I don't really believe in Malik Willis. I can see a case to put him on your squad if you needed a QB2 and you're contending, or if you're just looking for a QB3 and you're contending and you don't need a wide receiver in that position. It makes sense to make that trade to me. But if I'm just having to take these straight up in terms of dynasty value, give me Omar Cooper Jr., who I think will hold more value longer term than Malik Willis will. All right, here's another one. This one's probably going to be a little tougher here. Super flex, 12 by 12, full PPR, full point tight end premium, DJ Moore or Omar Cooper Jr.?
Yeah, I mean, we actually were just talking about this on the main pod, and I was saying that these are the type of offers I would be throwing out for DJ Moore in a contending window. I think um, you hope that Omar Cooper Jr. turns into the sort of production you've gotten from DJ Moore at least the last like 3 or 4 years. I know it took a while, and he was struggling without a quarterback, but I think I'm pretty squarely on the DJ Moore side, especially as a contender. If you're a rebuilder, I can see why it would make sense to kind of want to re-roll into a 22-year-old wide receiver who has the upside of what can he become in the NFL. But I think just on talent alone, I think DJ Moore, although a lot of people are down on him, is just a better wide receiver even at this age. So I'd go DJ Moore.
How old is DJ Moore? Let me look this up really quick. 29 years old, and he already turned 29 3 days ago. Happy birthday, DJ Moore. This is hard. I was saying DJ Moore on the other one in terms of picks, but now that we're saying it's Omar Cooper Jr., if I'm contending, I'll take DJ Moore here, just because you have that certainty, you know that role is solidified, and you have the production for this year and probably at least one more, maybe two more, unless he just falls out of relevancy this year and then maybe he gets cut and works his way around the league a la Cooper Kupp or something. I think I'll just take the time on and the bet on Cooper Jr. if I'm not looking to contend, though. That's a cop-out answer.
Hey man, I know Cooper Kupp did a lot of damage to you playing for the Rams, but I'm pretty sure he only played for 2 teams. Like, I mean, he didn't get around the league. I mean, you could
just wait.
Amari Cooper. Yeah, just wait. I think he's probably retiring soon. I mean, but anyways, yeah. I mean, I can see that. I think it's like a deal that makes some decent sense.
All right. Superflex 12 by 11, full PPR, full tight end premium. Omar Cooper Jr. or a 2027 first, highly coveted 2027.
Yeah. I mean, I think we were talking about this earlier in the offseason. It's like if you can flip these late first in the 2026 for the chance, the lottery pick at a 2027 first, I think you do it. Obviously, if it's to like a super strong contender or something and you're just getting worse draft position, but if it's any chance to be in the top 6, I think you're probably taking the 27 first.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, if it is a later round pick, like the guy who just won the championship last year, I still don't hate it. Like you never know, man. Fantasy seasons are wild. Just because they won the championship last year doesn't mean that they even make the playoffs next year. Injuries happen, things change in the NFL, and the chaos has not even begun yet. I'm just going to take the 2027 first regardless here.
Unless it's me in a particular league where I've won it 3 times in a row, then you probably don't want my first. I mean, I don't have it anyways, but you probably don't want it anyways.
Yeah. Flex that hardware, Jose.
Oh, hell yeah.
All right. Any league mates you want to call out while we say that?
Yeah, I mean, you know a lot of them. You do know a lot of them. So, particular card collecting fellow, a burrito fellow, a gambling fellow. Yeah, there's
exactly.
a few.
Exactly.
You know exactly. If they're listening, I don't know if they're listeners, but they'll know who they are. If not, then we can keep it moving. Isaiah Likely and give me the 108. What is Isaiah Likely? I don't know. I mean, I've never bought into Isaiah Likely. Sure, I mean, he went somewhere, got some money. I don't know. I just it's a full tight end point premium, so I guess that's where the thought is coming from. But
that changes things.
Yeah.
I'll take Likely if it's full point tight end premium. This makes sense to me in terms of Omar Cooper Jr., what he could be in a full PPR. You're gonna get a tight end who is just got a bag. You're assuming he's gonna have a very concrete role in the Giants offense, which I am skeptical about, but I have like this cautious optimism for what the Giants can be this year. And I feel like that's a pretty cheap price to pay for likely and a full point tight end premium.
Really,
I
you
don't know
think that's
what to
cheap?
I don't know what to
I feel
do.
like that's expensive.
I have him in so many places, and I'm like torn between writing it out and selling while I can.
I got to be honest with you guys. If you listen to both our shows, JMac, it's been the day of the what do you call it? The It's not euphemisms, like I don't know what they're called, metaphors. You've been riding the fence, sleeping with one eye open. You've been all over the place. I love it.
The
I think that's expensive. I mean, my brain is split on it in one way because it's like Harbaugh went out and got his guy, but then Harbaugh also had this guy and didn't use him. So it's like, is he just getting him to not use him? Like, obviously you don't have Mark Andrews, but he was there and said, "Yeah, let's pay Mark Andrews a ton of money." You know what I'm saying? Like, it feels weird, what they did there, and what likely is, I don't know. Um, the Giants had as a whole, I'm kind of like Jackson Dart, Malik Neighbors, and that's it. Like, that's kind of who I'm interested in and get out. Like, I don't know if we've seen enough from Jackson Dart to think he could prop up a wide receiver one and a tight end one. Maybe he can. Maybe he's got that juice and that sort of elite level quarterback play. But I'm kind of just staying away. So yeah, like I said, I take the 108.
All right. I'll stick with likely. The grass isn't always greener, I'm just stacking them now on purpose. All right. How about this one? The Superflex 10 by 10 full PPR half point tight end premium. Omar Cooper Jr. or Cam Scatterbo?
I think it's Scatterbo, but I mean, this could drastically change if they draft Jeremiah Love. So, can you wait another week to do this trade? I feel like you could. If
Put it on layaway.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's Scatterbo right now with the information we have.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think that, especially in a 10 by 10 here. What?
I don't know. I was like waiting for more, and you're just like,
That's all I got.
I'm with you. All right. I was like, where are we going? I was like, should I step in? Do I need to speak? Like, you threw me for a loop there, man. It's 11 p.m. here, guys. So we're running.
We're good. Stick with us here.
We're going.
A few
we're
more.
thriving right now.
We're thriving. All right, man. 12 by 10 full PPR Superflex 0.75 tight end premium. Tyler Shuck or Omar Cooper Jr.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we looked at something similar when the made pot earlier. I think it's Tyler Shuck. I mean, Superflex starting quarterback, you definitely feel a lot better than Malik Willis, who we were talking about earlier. So at least I do about Shuck. I mean, it could be that he has a horrible second season and then he's just gone and they're drafting another quarterback next year. But I do feel like he's proven enough to stick around and be their starter for at least a few years.
Yeah, I do feel better about Shuck than Malik Willis in terms of security, but not a lot better. Like, Shuck is at least proven at this point, right? Whereas Malik Willis, I feel like, has proven himself in a handful of games, but not in more than like a 3-game stretch, right? Tyler Shuck went to battle for, when did he get the starting gig? I want to say like week 6, week 7, something like that. So
Yeah.
I'm with you. I think I'm on the Shuck side of things here in a 12 by 10, but
I mean, also the draft capital was not nothing. They spent a second round pick, so it wasn't like they, it was like a 5th round pick or something.
Right.
They did invest a decent amount of capital into him, so it wouldn't be that crazy for him to keep the starting job. And then I was just confirming, yeah, it was week 8 when he took over, but I mean, he was a quarterback 26 playing only 9 weeks. He had a couple stinkers, and then almost every time above 15 points as your quarterback 2. I think this is just a really cheap way to get into a quarterback in a super flex league where they're pretty hard to come by.
Yeah, and to that same point of his security, the organization, from what I hear, seems to really like him as well. So that's not nothing It's just he he doesn't have the same leash as like a first round quarterback would have. So if he goes out and plays bad significantly for a 6 week stretch, something like that, I think it's very plausible people are going to be raising the flag. And yep, there's another one. There you go. And start asking the questions on if Shuck is the guy in the future for New Orleans.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Hey, like let's let's pause and take a little like tangent here, because I heard something the other day. Scott Connor was talking about it, and this was on the Mind Dimension with the Podfather, and it came up that we're kind of the whole idea of this quarterback bubble, how there's this really good ecosystem for quarterbacks right now where you have probably like 20 21 quarterbacks that you feel pretty good about putting in your starting lineup, where it starts getting uncomfortable. But then next year we have a pretty large influx of quarterbacks coming into the league where some of these guys are going to be replaced. And it's just like there's the easy ones that we can assign like right off the bat, where it's like Browns, Jets, Pittsburgh, Cardinals. But then after that, then you have to assign these incoming, there's like 6 or 7 of them, start assigning them to teams where, are they going to start moving on? Is it going to be Daniel Jones? And then if Kyler Murray plays himself into a job, now he's also in the mix as, a free agent. And there's, is it going to be CJ Stroud we were talking about? If he doesn't play well this year, are they going to give him his 5th year option and commit to him? Like there's so many. They went on to say even like, what if Dak doesn't play well this year? Like, is Jerry Jones gonna want to move on? Like, they just gave him a big contract, so that one was a little bit harder, but they were pushing that one pretty hard.
Yeah, I mean, it would be. I think it would be a Russell Wilson sort of level of eating dead money type of situation.
Right.
I think I'm like just double checking, but yeah, I mean, they don't have an out until next year after the 27th season. And then they would be incurring like 72 million dead cap. So, I mean, for Dak specifically, I think
Right.
I don't think there's going to be enough quarterbacks coming out next year to even fill the holes of just bad teams. Like, I don't know what happens with Daniel Jones, like you said, but just the ones that don't even have a quarterback right now that you feel good about, like the Browns, the Jets, and the
Steelers, Cardinals.
Cardinals. That's 4. I don't know if there's even 4, elite, like a run of like how we had 2 years ago with Bo Nix and Drake May and all Caleb Williams and Jaden. Like, I don't know if there's that crop. I know the 27 class is hyped. I don't know if it's quarterback is that deep. I think in terms of slipping, were you heading more like which guys slip out of those positions or who just gets replaced?
Yeah, like there's going to be some of these guys that come out this season that aren't going to be looked at favorably by their teams, and that they may be able to get into a newer model in the draft, right? And there's going to be some promise and some upside to some of these guys where we need to try to kind of predict where that can go. Who can these assets be? Like, who are the safest quarterbacks to get into and who aren't? And that's why I'm kind of bringing it up now as we're talking about Shuck tangentially, because he was also one of the ones that came up, right? If he doesn't play well, like we said, has like a 6-week stretch where he just kind of doesn't do well, then he could very well meet that criteria and the Saints could be looking to move on.
Yeah. I mean, I could see it. I think he won 6 games last year, starting from week 8, and the team was pretty bad. I don't know, like in terms of roster construction, it's going to get a lot better. They have a last place schedule, which means they should be fairly more easier for him to rack up enough wins. I think they'll just do enough to maybe miss out on the top, but then obviously they could make trades and do what they need to move up there. I think another interesting possibility in that is like Matthew Stafford. Like if he decides to retire, what do the Rams decide to do there? Jalen Hurts, who we talked about, what the heck's going on there? So I mean, it's definitely interesting. I would probably push back on them saying there's like 20 plus starters that I feel comfortable. Like in a 12 team league, super flex, like there's definitely a couple of teams in the league that are not feeling good about who they're starting like in as their second quarterback. So I think it falls off a little bit. I think it dries off maybe 18 quarterbacks, I would say. Like, but it's definitely an interesting thing to think about, and there's definitely quarterbacks who we feel very safe with that definitely could not be the case next year.
Yeah, like I mean, Tua was kind of that last year, right? I mean, or Kyler Murray even, right? Like both of them were at least seen as like concrete starters, and then boom, they're cut, right? It can happen, and it does happen. So
it could happen to you. You never know.
It could happen to you. I feel like that's like a insurance commercial or something right there.
Yeah. JJ McCarthy is another guy, right? That Justin Fields a few years ago, Geno Smith, Kirk Cousins. I mean, those are guys that very quickly. I mean, I think the biggest cautionary tale is Deshaun Watson, right? Like think everything about Deshaun Watson, everything that happened, but think 3 years ago when he was a very, very good quarterback for fantasy football, and then what happened with him then. So
was it only 3 years ago? It feels like way longer.
Maybe I'm cutting it short, but I feel like it was like 3 seasons ago, not 3 years ago, but 3 seasons ago, that all this stuff happened. I mean, he missed the whole year and then got hurt and missed the whole year. I feel like that was.
I'm on it. Don't worry. I'm doing this live.
Yeah, no, I guess it was longer. It was the last time he was relevant was 2020, so that's been 6 years. So not 3 years ago, but I mean, take yourself back to 2020, right, when he just finished as the QB5 3 years in a row. You're like, oh, you're feeling great about Deshaun Watson, right? And then it falls off a cliff, and he hasn't played more than 7 games. So
man,
there is something to be worried about for some of these guys.
Yeah, I mean, you can really rub the team the wrong way. It's just
you definitely can. You can rub a lot of people the wrong way if you try hard enough.
That's true, man. You never know what's gonna happen. You gotta watch out for those kind of guys.
Yeah. Hopefully we're not rubbing you the wrong way, and you're gonna want to be sticking with us. I think we're coming to the end of our time here together, but it's been fun. Like J-Mac was saying earlier, hopefully you guys continue to stick with us. The grass isn't always greener on the other side. You're in good hands here. Don't count your chickens before they hatch. What else can we say?
The early bird gets the worm.
Early bird gets the
I don't
worm.
even know how that applies, but if you guys don't get in with us early, there's no worms.
Yeah, exactly. If you're not looking, you're missing out on this knowledge. Touching down on like button, but we're out, guys.